So, you want to buy a brand new sword, do you?
Why, yes, my good merchant. I seek a new weapon to slay demonic beast.
Our fighter requires a bit more firepower if we are to save the kingdom. Perhaps some sort of spear could levy our chances in battle.
Oh, well, I have just the right weapon for you. Why don't you follow me into the back, sonny?
Why, this is an immaculate weapon for quelling my foes on the battlefield. Oh, darn it. It appears I am short on the coin. Perhaps I shall return in a fortnight for this gorgeous blade.
Now, hold on there, boy. Not everything's gotta be done in money. We could bargain, trade some goods, maybe some services. Ain't no one gotta know nothing. And it looks like your friends are gonna be busy for a while.
I thank you, kind madam, but my coin bag is right back at the tavern.
It's got a +1 enchantment on it.
+1, you say? Well, as long as I could play some music.
Oh, sonny, we're gonna be making our own music tonight.
Oh my god, it smells like mothballs and Werther's caramel in there. Making NPCs is a hard job for a dungeon master, so pull up your britches, because I'm about to show you how to make some good ones. Oh god.
Understanding the concept of your NPCs today.
Yeah, I know. Some of the most interesting NPCs you've had were probably spitballed on the spot, whose name was strung together with a combination of the Mountain Dew ingredient list and the cover of some YA fiction novel you bought but never read. But sometimes a DM wants to really put some care into an NPC because they got a vision. And in order to have that vision, you gotta know the general idea of what that NPC is about. If I ask you who they are, can you describe them in 3 to 4 words? What's their thing? What's their shtick? Are they an innkeeper with a peg leg? Maybe they're a knight who hates nobles. Maybe it's Maybelline. That was a stupid fucking joke. I don't know why I said that. I'm gonna leave it in. You want to start simple and then you can build off on that idea later. When you're growing a seed, you start off with a small pot. Then over time, you move to bigger and larger pots. Eventually, you got yourself a money tree ready for your players to come a-picking.
Oh no. No, it's too soon. The alarms! Hasbro's attacking! Everyone get to the bunkers quick! Save the kids! Save the... Oh shit!
This video has been sponsored by the good guys and gals, well, probably guys, at Dead Tree Studios.
Me and my comrades have grown bored in this apocalyptic metro, searching for something new and exciting to fulfill our tabletop needs. Life in a metro is not good.
Until we stumbled upon the legendary games of Dead Tree Studios. In Dames of Historia, I get to roleplay sweet anime monster girl. Now I can be cute deer girl, frolicking in the woods, slaying my enemies wherever I go. They even have games to fit Dimitri's taste. Dimitri is special case. I haven't seen wacky tabletops like this since the bombs have fallen. Ugh, I miss my wife. They have beautiful hardcover books, merchandise, and plenty of modules to keep you busy when the mutants are on the surface. Make sure to check them out in the description below. Do pobacina, brothers. Hey, Dimitri, I said I am playing the deer girl, not you. Get out of here.
Oh, $100. Fuck me on that money, man. Fuck me on that money.
I love money.
I'm playing with you.
Money.
Bend over. Right them on that money.
Now that you've figured out the baseline, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. What is the core reason for why you're making this NPC? And this idea can span all across the trademarked lands of Faerun. Now, not every NPC has to serve a specific purpose,
But you also want most of them to have some sort of use.
whether that's keeping the party on track or an NPC that's sole purpose is to show the wizard how spell slots work. I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I'm not too sure how the hero's journey works because I'm kind of dumb, but I do know that Gandalf gives my short King Frodo some advice somewhere in that timeline. It's also important to remember that all great things come in balance. Meme all you want, but there is such a thing as too many ingredients in the soup. You don't want to go overboard and have a bunch of useless NPCs that nobody can remember. And if you watch any of my videos, then you'd know there's nothing I love more than my categories. First, we got the all-stars, the heavy hitters, the kings, the queens, the finest of the crop, my brother. I don't know why I said that like that. I'm sorry. These are the NPCs that are core to your story. Your Gandalfs, your Aragorns, your BBEGs, not to be confused with your ABGs. But in the words of Playboi Carti, if I'ma be a bitch, then I'ma be the baddest bitch.
Playboi and the Carti. Yeah, slap. I'm feeling so opium right now. Hit.
Was that the first Playboi Carti D&D reference on YouTube? I feel like it is, but I don't know.
I got some of that new right now.
Ah, god damn it.
You win this time, Carlos.
You have these NPCs close at hand, but not too much that they overtake the story from the players themselves. Next, we got the filler NPCs. These fellows are here for just a particular arc. Maybe the party got a side quest to save a town. These are the inhabitants. Once your players succeed, or more likely fail, to rescue everyone, you may not see these NPCs again. But if they're a really good character, you can keep them in your back pocket for a future encounter. Ugh. And yes, this includes the random goblin you made on the spot that your party becomes oddly attached to. Finally, we have the special ones. In other words, your meme NPCs. You gotta be careful with these ones, because if you have too many, you just come across as a walking iFunny meme. Next thing you know, you're just a script for a group of dead internet robots to constantly repost so they can farm engagement. So, be honest with me. Which one of you are bots?
I promise I won't hurt you, boy. At least not too much.
Use the meme NPC sparingly. If anything, they're just there to break up the serious momentum and give the party some space to breathe. Anyways, figure out the use of these characters. Trust me, bud, it'll help in the long run.
She caught me by surprise, I must say, because I had never seen such a pretty face.
You can make the most amazing NPC in the world. Pull out all the backstory and emotions that would put a Critical Role episode to shame. But none of it matters if your players just don't care about the NPC. It's surprising, but you gotta know your players before you can flesh out your extras. Understand their motivations, their wants, their desires, whether or not they're the kind of person that rolls a skill before the DM even asked them to. Which, in that case, what a shame they just so happen to fall down those 20 flights of stairs.
Obviously, this varies from party to party, but in my experience, most players are oddly suspicious of everything they meet. So you want to ease them into meeting new characters, get them to connect in some way. This is why the most important part is keeping it simple. You don't want to cover every single base right from the beginning. This is going to give you space to adapt to your players and tailor the experience around them. Let's take our favorite vampire incel, Strahd. Some players may react more heavily to a Strahd that is outright evil. They may make it their goal to directly oppose him, or just decide to try to avoid him completely. But if we have a version of Strahd that is charming and charismatic, some players might be more receptive to that. You could potentially open up a new avenue for yourself to manipulate a few of the party members. But this only works if you understand the mentality of your players. Once you set a trait in stone, it's hard to go back. The party is now going to be on the lookout for that kind of behavior. Oh, I love this game. What other hobby lets you manipulate your friends like a dishonorably charged Coast Guard? Well, actually, now that I think about it, there's a lot of games like that.
Cause behind a smile, I'm so pissed, but I won't be showing emotions. No, I'm not even telling my close friends. You can't fix me now, I'm too broken. I don't know why I'm withering this way.
Ah, you think I'm memeing. No, I'm not. Your players are gonna talk riddles, spit bullshit, have sob stories, R1, R2, L1X, left down, right up, until they get what they want like the little rats they are. Now that's a goddamn reference. Just like the players, NPCs have their own wants and desires. You don't gotta be an asshole about it, but it's fine to tell your players no, especially if they're asking an NPC to do something that goes against their core character traits. Brother, making an NPC is only half the battle. You gotta become the embodiment of this imaginary person. You gotta think like they do, and the creativity just comes a-flowing. How would the Earl of Waterdeep, I don't know how the lore of D&D works, I just steal my lore from TV shows, buy a cup of coffee? Are they nice? Are they a douche? Become that person. You gotta go all in on playing your NPCs. Put yourself in their shoes and discover what life's all about. But how do you go about this? Remember what I just said about stealing lore? You can do something similar here. Let's say you want a character that is roughly based off Joel from The Last of Us. If you boil him down to just the basics, you got what's a pretty common archetype. A tired and grizzled old man with a tragic backstory. He's a hard ass, but also kind of a softie. A small companion reminiscent of a dead child. Wait a minute. You just gotta roughly embody these traits. Maybe even lift a few lesser known quotes from his character. But what really separates the good and bad DMs is how you can morph these traits into something unique. That's where you start to diverge and think about what your specific NPC wants to achieve. Don't let those little ankle biters you call players dissuade you from a character's original purpose. But keep in mind balance, blah blah blah, analogy, metaphor, wacky quote I usually say here. Just don't take it too far. It's all about practice, my little protege. Put in the hours and you're on the right track to becoming the ultimate NPC mastermind. Now this is where I typically would have some out-of-pocket skit so that I can buffer the length of this here video just to make $2 extra. But I just recently bought Ghost of Tsushima and I don't feel like doing that. So instead I'm gonna crash the average view duration of this video and read you this fan fiction I asked ChatGPT to make me.
The rain fell in a steady drizzle.
lightly tapping against the window pane of the cozy little cottage nestled in the outskirts of the forbidden forest. Dobby sat at the foot of the couch, his large tennis ball-sized eyes staring longingly into the fireplace. He fiddled nervously with his fingers, the firelight dancing across his rough, wrinkled skin. Ryan Gosling sat across from him, his brow furrowed in confusion, but his eyes, those deep, soulful eyes, were filled with the same kind of quiet warmth Dobby had admired since the first time they met. A warmth that had once made him feel safe, but now made everything infinitely more complicated.
Dobby needs to tell you something, Master Gosling.
Dobby whispered, his voice trembling. He glanced at the floor, his heart pounding with emotions too complex for a humble house elf to understand.
Dobby is going to have a baby.
Ryan blinked, his heart skipping a beat. He ran a hand through his perfectly tousled hair, the rain outside mirroring the storm brewing in his chest. Baby? He repeated softly, trying to process what he just heard.
Yes,
Dobby squeaked, his ears drooping slightly as he wrung his hands.
And the baby belongs to you.
The silence between them was deafening. Ryan's jaw tightened, but his heart swelled with confusion, guilt, and a strange, unexpected joy. He knelt down, bringing himself to eye level with Dobby, the man who had somehow become more than just an otherworldly friend. More than just a fantasy. But how? Ryan asked, voice barely above a whisper.
Magic is mysterious, Master Gosling. Love, even more so,
Dobby said, blinking away a tear.
Dobby doesn't know how it happened, only that it did. And now, Dobby is having your baby.
Ryan sat back, unable to stop the faintest smile from curling his lips. A family? With Dobby? He couldn't deny the oddness of the situation, but he also couldn't deny the connection they had shared over the months. Those late-night talks under the stars, the way Dobby always brought him socks. What the fuck is this shit? Okay, I'm sorry. The tender moments where they just existed together in silence. But as Ryan's mind raced, Dobby's eyes filled with pain. A burden he'd been holding for too long now, threatening to crush him.
But Master Gosling, there is something else Dobby must confess. Something Dobby can no longer keep hidden.
Ryan's chest tightened. What is it, Dobby? You can tell me anything. Dobby took a deep, shaky breath, his eyes clouding over with deep, complicated emotions he had never spoken aloud.
Dobby is in love with someone else.
Ryan's heart sank, though he didn't quite know why. Who? He asked softly, his voice breaking ever so slightly. Dobby's gaze flickered toward the window, where the rain had intensified. His voice was barely a whisper.
Shrek.
Ryan blinked in disbelief. Shrek? Like, Shrek?
Yes,
Dobby whispered, clutching his tea cozy.
the ogre, Master Gosling. Dobby met him in the swamp while searching for socks, and his strength, his charm, his layers of complexity, they are too much for a simple elf like Dobby to resist. He feels Dobby's heart in ways that Dobby did not think possible.
Ryan stared at the little elf, his emotions spinning wildly out of control. The rain outside mirrored the tears he was trying to hold back. Shrek? Out of all the people or ogres, how can I even compete with an icon like Shrek? The guy has his own franchise. But Dobby, what about us? What about our baby? Ryan asked, his voice cracking as he struggled to make sense of everything. Dobby's large eyes filled with tears, his small hands reaching out to touch Ryan's.
Dobby still cares deeply for Master Gosling. Dobby will raise our baby, and Dobby will always cherish the time we share. But love is not simple. It is not magic that can be controlled. Dobby is torn between two worlds.
Ryan stood staring down at the elf who had turned his life upside down. He wanted to be angry, to scream, but all he felt was a deep, overwhelming sadness. He knelt once more, taking Dobby's small, trembling hands in his own. I'll always be there for you. For our baby, but if Shrek is who you love, I can't stand in your way. Dobby's lip quivered, his eyes filling with gratitude and sorrow.
Master Gosling is too kind, too beautiful. Dobby is not worth of such kindness.
Ryan smiled sadly, brushing a tear from Dobby's cheek. You don't choose who you love, Dobby. Not really. And so, under the watchful eye of the storm, Ryan Gosling let go of the impossible dream of a life with Dobby, as the elf's heart beat between two worlds. One where he would raise a child with Ryan, and another where his heart longed for the complicated, green-skinned ogre of his dreams. Love, after all, is a story written by the rain, one that washes away expectations and leaves behind nothing but the raw, unfiltered truth of the heart. And sometimes, that truth is stranger than magic. Well, that was a bigger pain in the ass to edit than I thought it'd be. I should have just went with another Susan Sarandon skit. God, how can that lady still be a baddie? I don't know. Anyways, like, comment, subscribe, all of that fun stuff. And thanks again to Dead Tree Studios for sponsoring this brand risk of a channel. Go check them out. Hope everything's going well for y'all. I'm gonna go play a Japanese samurai now. Later, bitches.